Welcome. I'm Deja Redman, co-founder and restorative vision of Replenish Well and Brands. Welcome to our space. We have a beautiful ecosphere. It's a world within the world. Care holds such a beautiful space in the world, and so we're inviting you in. I come from a lineage of Black women, and each generation holds the recipes of care and hospitality. And in this generation, we are wrapping being well around hospitality and care. And we are here in the midst of city life where beauty is our birthright and everyday life is sacred. Yeah, coming from a lineage of Black women and the care recipes, they show up in who we are, right? As owners, as co-founders. And so it's in our innate abilities that give birth to how we care in the spirit of the times. And with that, my specific recipe is aromatherapy. And so I have blends that I create that are coming from something bigger than me. You know, my sister, she studies the human body, and we offer yoga life classes. My mother, she's the source of unconditional love, and how we move about and how we speak to our client friends by the way we hold space, how we take care of the therapist and the caregivers that work in our space. Those are the recipes. You know, you think about recipes and you think about aromatherapy ingredients, or like the recipes on how to be human in a world of tech and AI. You know, that's how do we care for each other? And it's in how we were raised also. And we're bringing how we were raised to all the people that come through our space. And that is a blessing, because we don't have to go far from who we are to do the work, this purposeful work that is caring for community, organizations, and corporations, to come gather, connect, and celebrate everyday life. Everyday life. Yeah. Co-op for us in short is in short for cooperation. You know, how do we find beauty in contrast? How do we cooperate with our everyday life experience when you have challenges, joys, grief, life transitions? And so we're not a space that is the trend. We are progressive, we're vintage beauty, we're vintage care that's ancient care remedies. You know, when you have eye contact and sit and hold intentional space with someone. Cooperation is the way we do business, the way we partner, the way we exchange energy with our employees, and how we care for them in that way. And how we can be multi-purposed is also a part of the co-op. You know, we're living in a generation now where you can do multiple things. And here at Replenish, working here at Replenish, you can be a therapist, and you can also make us aromatherapy spray, and we sell it in our retail space, right? And so cooperation and creativity work so well together. And we invite in cooperation and curiosity and creativity and all these spiritual skill sets and innate abilities that we have to sway away from the capitalistic structure. We had to have a different approach, and cooperation, it was very supportive in that process. We come from a society that is very fragmented and piecing things out, and care at Replenish is about connection, accessibility, restoration, and evolution. And so we're always looking through that lens, which provides us a more holistic viewpoint on how we need to care for someone. You know, safety is number one, and it doesn't end with a period. And so we want to make sure that we're looking through and have an understanding of what care is. When you think about the emotional space, you know, hospitality is a gift from our lineage of people that I've come from, that we're able to provide. When you walk in the door, you're greeted with welcome, we see you. You know, and so the language creates the world, and our language is really beautiful here. We're really thoughtful and intentional and purposeful about the language, about the furniture is old things made new, right? And so that alone is nostalgic, because you're finding things that you can find in your own home. You don't have to go so far on a mountaintop to find peace or to create beauty. And I think that alone brings us down to earth again. And it's not just this trend. Yes, that's fun and that's nice, and we have that available. And sure, the Pantone color of the year is, deep purple or whatever it is. That's beautiful. And what really matters in the work that we do is that we're able to care for the hearts inside the human body in a way that is sustainable, that really supports all that we do as human beings here on this earth. Yeah. The physical body is really important to honor it. So our beds that are so cozy and comfortable, the way we have donation-based yoga, it makes it really accessible. So the physicalness of the human body, we want to make sure that there's comfort there. And the mental, state of being is, again, going back to having the space itself massage away the debris and stress from the mental strain that we're dealing with all of the dimensions we can be in now with technology and AI and all the inundation that can happen. That it's easy. It's just like, I'm gonna sit and meditate and all will be well. Yes, all will be well, because it's about honesty, and it's about being your own best friend, and it's about a community wrapping their arms around you in your everyday life, whether you're in joy or you're in challenge, right? It's, the trend doesn't work for everybody. And it's also getting to know what season you are in your life. It may be winter out here, but maybe you're experiencing a summer kind of vibe inwardly. Part of the work is the inward journey is just as hard, maybe even harder than the external journey. And so what this holistic well-being and care provides is tools to support with navigating the inner terrain in such a way where you don't feel alone. And I think that's a conversation that's really a part of wellness right now, loneliness. And so we're a space that, yes, we offer spa experiences, from yoga, facials, reflex, hands and feet, energy work. What we really, offer is a communal space to feel safe, to feel alive, to feel well, even in challenge, to feel supported. Luxury to us is about honoring the human experience. We awaken the power and the gift of the present moment. The present moment is the most precious and sacred gift to unwrap. And I think in a world that's moving so fast, that it's so easy to want to escape or want to have the illusion of what is reality and what is real. But there's something about the human beingness, being on planet Earth, feeling, touching, tasting, smelling, connecting. That part is such a gift. And so we bring present moment awareness by awakening the full human being, not just the logic brain and figuring things out. That's an ability, right, that we can have. But what else is possible when you're fully awakened? How that alone is part of the healing journey as well, because it allows us to be more present and aware of how we can make better choices in our lives, how we can shift our daily routines to support ourselves in challenge. And so it's so beautiful because it's a deeper approach, but you're just coming in sometimes just to get a facial, and you walk away feeling like, wait, emotionally I feel better. So I think that's what comes up for me. Listen, our mama taught us to work with what we have, and from that space, we expand. So we didn't have a lot of capital starting Replenish Well and Brands. We had a purpose-driven mission that has come from the ancestors, my mother's dream and the ancestors' whispers. And so with that being said, we have to work from, accept what we have in the present moment. And from that space, we create some momentum. And so old things made new, things that we already had that we could renew the energy, and refurbish or restore. So when you come into Replenish, we are located and housed in a historical home, which is the symbolism of who we are, because we're a family-owned business. And so families being well is so important. That's been the journey all along, because the first family was our own, right? To learn how to care for ourselves. That self-care movement was very much so for our own family. And so you'll find old things made new. You'll find things that you can see in your own home that you can be re-inspired when you go back home. Like, you know what? I have that, you know, bowl or teacup, or that couch I remember was in my mama's house. You know, like, how can I re-inspire what I already have versus trying to go so far outside of ourselves for all the answers, all the joys. You know, at Replenish, we believe joy is your birthright, beauty is your birthright. And what we support you on that journey is to remember that. And so, yeah, the space really matters. And I think that even coming into our space, as soon as we open the doors and invite you in, the aroma, you know, we have seasoned this space for 16 years. You know, just imagine a pop of grapefruit, lavender with a little hint of peppermint, you know? And it's like, the more you season the space, the more it has its own unique signature scent. And we get that feedback from all of our client friends. Yeah. Self-ownership, you know, accountability. We hear that word a lot. And I feel, and I know actually, for us as a family business, accountability has been a big one. And to break that down for us is account for your abilities and inabilities, because, you know, you're a family. And so there's some clashing that can happen just with just the natural, I'm the little sis, my sister's the big sis, you know, and there's mama there looking at us through the lens of mama. And we had to grow in our awareness around, like, how do we take self-ownership and really get to know ourselves that clear, so that those natural innate abilities, the natural things that I do well, we can now then put forth into the business so that it's not such a strain. You know, the competition of, like, oh, my sister is the operations, she knows more, or she's like, oh, you're always inspired, you know. So those intricate ways of being as a family, you know, we had to learn the power of self-ownership and what that really brings outside of what we've trained ourselves to believe about ourselves, so our self-worth. You know, really understanding who we are and our own abilities really supported that. And I do believe, you know, as a family business, I tell some people it's not for everybody. I do, however, think if you have a purpose that is bigger than the individuals holding the, you know, doing the work, the purpose is what keeps us integral. So we actually function better in business because, you know, the purpose is keeping us accountable. Our care curriculum, the way we operate, the way we say hello, you know, the way we walk about the space, the choreographed experiences that we curate for gatherings and families coming in holds us accountable, because we don't want to be a contradiction. And that's always has been, we had to stay close to that, you know, how the purpose is there for others, but it's also supporting your own healing journey. And so this purpose has healed our family in many ways. And so very grateful for that, you know. And financially, you have to be open and honest, you know, about family business and how you all want to operate in the beginning. We're sharers, so it was good for us because when challenging times came, we were able to say, okay, a little bit here, a little bit there. So those pieces, you know, really, we had some tough conversations, but we always landed on, if we're caring for others, how can we create protocol and process for our family to move through, you know, challenging times in business. And so it hasn't been an easy road, but it's been a purposeful one, for sure. Beauty starts and begins with a healthy conversation. We're the professionals, we're trained and licensed. However, you are living in your body. You know your body the best. So we ask a lot of powerful questions, and we curate and customize your experience based on your needs. Everyone's skin is different. Everyone's body mechanics are different. And so we really want to make sure we're building a healthy rapport and a healthy relationship. So that's first and foremost. I think in a touch industry, that needs to be clear so that people can feel safe enough to open up about what the concerns are. We also pride ourselves and we're grateful for our high quality organic ingredients. I mean, I think that, in a world that has a lot of toxicity with in foods and in products and processed foods, we have products that are derived straight from the earth. So we have that availability to us. And if they're not 100% organic, they're really thoughtful and intentional. We love local, and so we support local. And we have local vendors that are creatives and innovators of this new way of creating products. And so you'll find those items in our retail space, our homeostasis retail space, where you can find conscious, curated retail. For everyday life, for your emotional needs, physical needs, mental needs. And quick pick me up, right? Like a aromatherapy or intentional card that you can have in your life pack. What's in your backpack? So you're able to fill your car, your life pack, your homes with items that are intentional and inspiring. So that's an asset of our company. And yeah, I mean, I think that's it. We're small, but we're mighty. And care comes in when the world needs it the most. And right now, we have to defy the walls of Replenish because our care curriculum is necessary. It's all about timing. And the time, in the spirit of the time that we're living in, the ecospheres of organizations and corporations and even the education and universities. We are living in a new world, so there's new systems and processes and in these ecospheres to connect us all back to purpose. Because again, we're all on our phones. We need restoration to connect us back to purpose, and so now we're coming in with intrinsic care, where we're not just dropping down a yoga class. We are sitting with you, asking about your needs, and wrapping hospitality care and being well around your already made programs, cohorts, your team building. And so it really works in synchronicity with what you have going on already. And it's an easy win, right? Because when people feel well, they work more productively. Replenish Well Brands is on a mission. We believe in healthy evolution. And right now, in the spirit of the times, Replenish is expedited in its growth of being our curriculum, that the way we run our business, the way we operate our businesses, the services and offerings that we provide is now a prototype for the way we can be in business. It's a new pilot program for the way we can reconnect back to being human again. It is, and so now what's coming forward is we are consultants for hospitality care and being well, and we have the processes, the practices, and the protocols to support organizations of all walks of life to be able to feel supported with the tools to be able to connect their ecospheres, their communities, their stakeholders. And so in 3 to 5 years, that's the route that we're going to take so that we can train and educate folks on how we've done this and how they can do it now. I see multiple spaces. I mean, I see Replenish globally. We're already doing that work. So I think that that's going to take off. One of our partners is Victoria's Secret, and we're doing global wellness with them, and so it's really beautiful to be able to expand this care from our Black women lineage of caregivers from our family into the world and be so proud of that, and to really stand on that, and to really elevate and evolve what our ancestors had to endure, what they endured actually is what is shaping the skill set that we have to care, right? And so it's just this beautiful holistic experience that is living and breathing, and also we are held by our ancestors. And so 3 to 5 years seems like, you know, a long time, but honestly it's like right here, right now. And so the vision is definitely global. To awaken the power of memory, the remembrance of our birth. And the first attribute, human attribute that we give birth to right out of utero, right? When the baby comes into the world, is the sense of touch. And, you know, we're losing what is essential in this life. There's so many gifts to tech and AI, and I love that part, right? And how do we remember the power of being a human being? We're not machines. The power of touch and a hug, and to be present with the sunrise and the sunset, and to really honor the human beings that we are, our heartbeat, taking a moment to breathe, the inhale and the exhale. And I want people to know that they are because they belong. And we want people to see their own unique beauty, because no one in the world has your fingerprints. And it's supposed to be like that for a reason. It's in our differences that supports us in being held in love, right? And when we sway from judgment, we can lean in with curiosity. So we want to leave behind the care recipes to make sure that as we move so rapidly, that we learn how to be the caterpillar, not just the butterfly. We want our client friends to feel awakened to their breath, and how it may be shallow today or deep, but the awareness of their breath. We want them to have a sense of belonging and inspiration. We want them to feel like they relieved stress and tension in their bodies, in their minds. We want to help and we'll support them to soften the thoughts that no longer serve them. We want their skin to glow and feel refreshed. We want their shoulders to draw down their back and feel relaxed. We want them to feel connected to the power of community, from whoever they are in the world, whatever walk of life, whatever religious background, whatever race or gender. It's like you leave here feeling connected to your beauty, your joy. And if you don't connect fully to all of that, it's like the curiosity about it though now. So yeah, and I want you smelling good. So the aromatherapy is always a vibe here. Always a vibe. There's so many social media channels. I'm Deja Redmond on LinkedIn, and so I will say that you can find me there, and I can support you in connecting you into Replenish. We are on Facebook, and that's Replenish the Spa Co-op on Facebook. Instagram, we're BE Replenish on Instagram. And our website is replenishwith.us. We look forward. We have gift cards available. Gift cards here is like the best gift, because it's the gift that keeps on giving and giving and giving. And so we love our gift cards are not just like a card. It's like you coming in and you are literally thinking about a beloved one, or thinking about yourself. So you can become a Life Pack member and come more often and schedule your care with us. And yeah, we look forward to you coming over to practice yoga with us, or dance, or a life class, a life study of meditation. And we have a life study on seasons, and like, what season are you in your life? So stay close to what we have brewing for 2026, because it is very fresh and organic and original and purposeful. Physically, our location is 124 South Washington, and we will soon be disclosing another space, but stay close to learn more.